Going
How you doing?
on, buddy?
Oh man, it's been too long.
Fuck, it's good to see you, man. I guess the last time we saw each other was the when you're out with the boys in Broken Love, and
Yep. It
real
was a
quick, real quick.
wild
There's so
night.
not that it surprises me that you got into that camp, but how did you meet those boys? Because like for me, they're probably I don't know certainly top 10 best rock band of the last 10 years in Canada.
Yeah. Yeah, Justin's amazing. And basically I remember right before COVID happened, I saw them play at the Fox when they were on tour with Royal Tusk, I believe, in Vancouver there.
Okay.
Um and I briefly met Justin. Like I don't even think he remembers me from then, but basically when I moved to Toronto last summer, I played those shows with the Lazies.
Hmm.
And we played the Horseshoe, and Justin came out to the Horseshoe because we have a friend, mutual friend, and she kind of told him to come check me out and stuff. So we, shot the shit and stuff like that after the show, and I kind of just, told him like, hey, listen, if you ever need a merch guy on tour, like, call me, I'm the guy.
Nice.
And it was more of like, more of a, I didn't think it was actually gonna happen, but then we got closer to the dates or whatever, and yeah, it happened. And even like a few weeks after we met there at the Horseshoe, I sent him not numbering the song I released, but a different song, Wounded, that we did together as well.
Hmm.
And yeah, he was like, this is really rad. Like I'm gonna redo the demo and get back to you. And I think maybe something like 2 months later, because they went on the road right after that. But like 2 months later, he sent me like this totally revamped demo of that song, and I was like, "Fuck!" Like
Cool.
you definitely need to produce this. So yeah, that's kind of how it started.
Yeah, that's deadly. And I'm just thinking, like, how far back do we go? I know that, people that regularly listen to this podcast would know you from the Followaways.
Yeah.
But we go, I would say it's at least 10 years, eh?
Maybe not 10 years, but I would say like 6 or
Like,
7.
gotta be
I,
damn near like was I playing any of your stuff when I was working at CFOX?
no, no, you were
Okay.
not.
So
No.
it's
So
just the podcast,
it was, yeah, it was a little bit
which is
after that.
nine years.
Yeah, yeah, but I remember even because when we first moved to Vancouver as the Followays, we had a really tough time getting into the scene, right? And it was only once we started doing those house shows that we kind of started getting in with the other bands and stuff like that. And I remember from the start, I was like, we gotta get a Toddcast podcast show. Like that's what we gotta do. And then by the time we started actually like doing your shows, I was like, you know what? Like I don't want to be that band that plays, 10 times a year in the same city. So if we're going to play a show, let's make it worth it. Let's do a podcast show because
Yeah. Yeah.
you always put the extra effort into everything that goes behind getting a good show up, and I appreciate that. So
Yeah. I mean, it takes a lot of work.
it
Just
does
some
take a lot of
social
work.
media shit. Like,
Yeah.
dude, I'm on fucking my phone, like just inviting
Wow.
thousands of people and like it's on, right? Like your new shows, man.
Yeah.
You're not messing around.
No.
So tell us about your well, I mean it's not a new project for you, but it's certainly going to be new I guess for a lot of people listening. Coster, simply put, it's just Coster now.
Yeah.
So tell us about tell us a bit about this and like why the change from followaways to what you're doing now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the followays kind of everybody kind of dissolved out of that situation, and it left me. There's a while where I kind of wanted to keep the followaways going, and I was kind of just picking up the broken pieces. But I realized pretty quick that it's just better if I do my own thing because then I can do it on my own time. I kind of was kind of got in the whole followays thing as well. Like I was putting the most effort into it, and that kind of creates a little bit of separation between the band as well, right? If
Oh,
one
sure.
person's putting more in, so this way is great. Like it puts more financial stress on me in a sense, but like I surround myself, especially here, like I'm surrounding myself with people that really like make a difference. Like the amount of progress that I've made since moving to Toronto is like more progress than I made in 5 or 6 years before that. So it's pretty crazy in that sense. But yeah, it's nice because now I get to hire my guys. I get to pick my guys, and there's no messing around. And to the working with Justin from Broken Love, working with Cone from Sum 41. I got Leon from the Lazies. Like I got Greg, my manager. Like all these amazing. Even the people that I'm living with right now, like Johnny. I'm in Johnny's room right now. His parents, Jim and Judy. I'm living with them, and like
Mhm.
Jim's an incredible guitar player. So every time I have a song idea or something, Johnny's a great producer, engineer. We get these awesome demos together, and it's just, it's really it's adding up very quickly here in
That's
Toronto.
cool. That's
Yeah,
cool because I remember when you had texted me saying like, dude, I'm fucking leaving, man. I'm going to Toronto. And when I
yeah,
saw that, I was like, as much as I hated seeing you leave, you were, in my opinion, one of the integral pieces of the scene here for a good duration of time. But it's like it's needed, isn't it? Like you need to go to a bigger city. You need to be able to play in different markets. You need
yeah.
to be able to kind of, showcase your stuff with other artists and stuff. So T Dot is it's going pretty good for you
It's
right now, hey?
it's doing good, man. You know, you want to hear one of the craziest stories I've had since I've gotten here. So my manager, is Mike Weckerly or Mike Weckerlecki, from like Dragon's Den. He owns the Alma Combo, right?
Yeah.
So the after party for the Canadian Songwriting Hall of Fame last year in September was at the Elmo. And my manager's like, hey, I got us in. Like, we should go network, whatever, whatever. And like, I remember I worked like a 15-hour day. It was just a brutal day. And like, I was hanging out at Greg, my manager's house, before we went down there. And I didn't even really feel like going, honestly.
Hmm.
But I basically set no expectations for the night. And I got in there, and it was kind of like we were some of the first people in there. And then everybody from the songwriting, uh, I guess it was where was it held, at Massey Hall? It's like all like Nickelback, like everybody showed up at once, kind of thing, on a bus. And then all of a sudden, my manager's wife came looking for me. She's like Weck's looking for you, Weck's looking for you. And like I went to introduce myself to Weck because like Weck loves my music because Greg had a meeting with him a few weeks prior, and man, this guy just like made me feel right at home. Like put his arm around me, introduced me to everybody. Like, and he owns this venue, so everybody's talking to him, right? Like he didn't.
Yeah,
He,
yeah, yeah.
he stuck by me for like 15, 20 minutes, introduced me to everybody. He was like, this guy right here, this is the next guy. And so that was pretty crazy in itself. But then later in the night, remember I went upstairs and Mike saw me again and we started talking. And I was like, Mike, you should show me the green room. Like, let's go check the green room out because you got to take an elevator to go to the green room up there.
Okay.
And we're in the elevator, and he looks at me and he's like, "I love doing crazy shit, man. You want to play a song tonight?" And I was like, "Ah, well, I thought he was joking, right?" And my manager's like, "Yeah, he'll play a song." And then yeah, he just threw me on stage, and I even this girl Robin Black was there. She was singing at the actual Songwriting Hall of Fame award ceremony. She just like learned my song in like 5 minutes, and she came on stage with me, and we just tore it up. It was the craziest thing for me because that stuff to me, I don't think that could even happen in Vancouver. Like,
No.
like I don't know, but yeah, it was pretty crazy to see that just happen, and it kind of gave me an early on idea that I was in the right place.
Yeah. And when did you start like playing music and I guess writing your own songs and that sort of thing?
I mean, like, I guess high school, I started playing drums first. So me and my buddy would kind of like play all the arts
Oh,
festivals and stuff in high school, and I was playing drums mostly. And then when I was getting into like grade 11 and 12, I started kind of playing guitar. Like, I'm not a great guitar player. I'm never gonna be a great guitar player. I can write cool riffs and I can write the structures of the song, and I think, I'm getting
yeah.
great at songwriting, and that's kind of what I want to put my focus into anyways, and obviously my vocals. But that's kind of how it was in high school, and then I went to college, and in college I actually started playing in a band playing drums. So I took
Mm.
that pretty seriously, and the band was good. Like the band was really good, and I thought the band was gonna go places, and then we got all these great songs together. Like we had good songs, the Blackbirds, and then the band just broke up. All the guys were fighting, and the band just broke up,
Ah,
and it bummed me out to the point where I was like, I'm gonna fucking do this myself. Like I'm gonna
yeah,
I'm gonna sing. I'm gonna write the songs. I'm gonna
yeah.
spearhead the operation, right? Um, and then that's kind of when I guess the songwriter part of it took off a bit. I mean, like over that time, I probably wrote 150 terrible songs and maybe five good ones, right? Like there's a lot of
Yeah.
There, there's a lot of progress that comes with it, but I think the main thing is just that I haven't quit.
Right. And I think that's the thing is like just keep going. I think
Yeah,
that if you talk to the majority of good songwriters, they'd say the same thing. Like,
yeah,
not every song is going to be a smash hit.
yep,
You gotta write some bombs before you get to the gems, you know.
100%. Yep.
And so it seems like music has always been in your life. I would imagine then, right? So like, what are your parents playing? Like, what are you growing up to? What's the music
You
being
know,
played in your house?
that's the weird thing because like there wasn't really much like when my dad really never listened to much music around me. Like, okay, so my parents own a bakery in Burns Lake, BC, where I was raised. There's like 3,000 people, small town, right? I was born
Okay,
in Switzerland. We immigrated. My dad really never like he'd have like the country radio station on at work all the time. He doesn't necessarily like country. That's just what was available, right?
sure.
Um, my mom would listen to like ABBA and stuff like that, which
Okay, yeah,
as a
yeah.
child I
Which
hated it. I
which
hated it.
may be the reason why you're a good songwriter.
Yeah, honestly, like looking back at ABBA now, like great
Yeah,
band. Like they got some amazing songs.
they are incredible, man. Like
Incredible.
insanely good.
Yeah, and it's funny how you grow like you grow to respect these things that you maybe don't like so much when you're young. But
Yeah.
I mean, like one of the ways that I discovered music, well, the way that I discovered music, like Spotify wasn't around when I was 13 or 14, so it was mainly like Much Music and like the Much Music video countdown and stuff like that. And I remember seeing Sum 41 on the countdown and being like, these guys look like just a couple punks that don't take life too seriously and just don't really give a shit. And I
Mhm.
love that. And I love that. And that really like resonated with me, I think. And I think that was like one of my first bands that I really connected with in that sense.
Would you say that that's one of your first musical memories, or you go even further back?
Uh yeah, I don't know necessarily about musical memories, but like revelations in terms of like I
Mm,
feel like I could be a part of this. I think that might have been the first one, yeah.
mm, mm. And what was the first concert that you saw? What still stands out from that night?
The first concert I ever saw. So it's funny. It was actually 3 Days Grace headlining, who I loved,
Yeah.
and The Used was supposed to play second, and then Ill Scarlet. So all three of those bands I was really into The Used at that point.
Mm.
And the day before the show, The Used bailed.
Oh
And
no.
I was so gutted because I had to like drive to Prince George, which is like a ways away from Burns Lake.
It's a trek, yeah.
And then Default replaced them. And at the time, I was like, oh, Default. Like I don't know who these guys are, but Default
Sure.
killed it too. So it's like, all these things happen for a reason, I think. And I actually like I had the opportunity to write a song with Jeremy from Default.
Oh, horror. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So
For
that was
sure.
pretty cool.
It's good to see those guys back out on the road and touring. And apparently,
Yeah,
there's going to be some new music. And like
exactly. Yeah, because
you
they,
just mentioned, Ill Scarlet as well. Those guys are out on the road again. And like,
yeah,
fuck yeah, man, bring them all out.
there's so much good music, and it's nice to see when even when there's like a periodic break or whatever. I feel like every band needs that. Like if you're
Yeah,
just
oh,
touring,
totally.
if you're touring your whole life, like I know Sum 41 technically just called it quits after like 27 years or something, and you
Mm,
know, I, that's like so much of their life. Like
totally right. Like,
it's probably really nice to just be able to like hunker down for a bit and do their own thing, and like there's probably going to be a reunion tour at some point or whatever, right? Like,
sure. Oh yeah, guaranteed.
but getting that little time away and then that comeback is even bigger, right? So yeah, it's
Mm-hmm.
nice to see these bands coming back.
Mm-hmm. Jay, I know that you're, obviously with your project Coster, you're putting out new music, so there wasn't a lack of creativity during the pandemic and the
Right.
quarantine time and all that. But did you struggle during that time, or was it just
You
same,
know,
same old?
it's funny because like so during quarantine, I guess, was when the followaways were still together, and a lot of the bands in the scene were really bummed out because they couldn't play or whatever. But I feel like I really capitalized. I was one of the people that really capitalized on it because I just wrote songs,
Mm,
just wrote as much songs as I could, and I just dove into that head first. And honestly, it was nice to not have to stress about the shows in between. So I could just kind of have these little creative ideas on, and every day when I come home from work, I'd kind of like tap on a little more, work on a demo, whatever.
Mhm.
And there's no stress about like, yeah, we got to get rehearsed for a show and whatever. But the way that I looked at it during quarantine was like, let's make the best of the situation. At this moment right now, we have some time to write some songs and we have some inspiration behind it. So
Mhm.
let's do it.
Yeah, a lot of people, just kind of lost the muse,
Yeah.
just lost the drive to create and be creative.
Yeah.
Kind of can't blame them, I guess. So really, right? It comes down to
No,
like
it's
what a downer 2 years that was, man.
it's a pretty downer 2 years, and then even like all the big bands that were booking those big tours and stuff, and they're constantly getting rescheduled, and it kind of weans people off buying tickets because they're like, is this even gonna happen? And
Hmm.
it just turned into a big mess. But I mean, like, I think the way now I look at life is like make the best of whatever situation. So
Agreed. Uh, Jay, let's get us out of music and what you're known for. Are you invested in this year's NHL playoffs? Do you give a shit? Who's
yeah,
your
I'm
team?
Jim, who I'm living with, he's a big Maple Leafs fan. Well, he's
Yeah.
generally a Montreal fan, but I can stand behind the Leafs. They're not looking in the most promising light right now,
It's
but
rough. It's rough.
it's not the best situation, okay? But it's one game at a time, and that's the beautiful thing about the playoffs. So
Yeah.
I think yeah, we'll see what happens. I
You,
guess I
you know,
I also
as a Canuck fan, you can't really bag on them too much because we didn't even make it in.
I'm,
So
yeah,
there's that.
yeah. And I'm not gonna lie, I hate the Canucks. Like, it's not the only reason I hate. Okay, yeah. I'm a Calgary fan by heart,
Oh
just because
shit.
where I grew up, BC, a lot of the jocks who didn't like me were Vancouver fans. So I was like, why would I be a Vancouver fan if these guys give me a hard time?
Yeah, fair.
Not gonna conform to that.
Yeah.
So I chose Calgary because my best friend growing up was a Calgary fan, and Calgary really blew it this year too. So
Yeah.
it's like I feel like whenever you're invested in a sports team, you're always going to be heartbroken most of the time. But
Yeah.
I think Toronto's a good team and they can't figure it out. Another team I'm kind of gunning for is the Devils.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Oh
because they got a couple Swiss guys on it, and I always love seeing my home country,
yeah.
do their best. But I don't know. They're playing right now. I think I don't know if they're gonna survive this game against
They
Carolina.
are, yeah.
So
And as soon as we're done this, I'm fucking jumping over and checking.
yeah, yeah, me too. I'll
Yeah,
text you.
yeah, yeah. What are you binge watching lately, man?
Honestly, man, I haven't had time to binge watch
Mm,
much, but one thing I have been watching was Rabbit Hole. Have you heard
what's
of
that?
that?
No.
I forget his name, Kiefer Sutherland or something like that. You know that
Mm,
guy?
yeah, yeah. Got from
So
like
basically,
24 and
yeah, it's hard to explain. There's a lot going on in it, but what is it on Paramount, I believe? Paramount's kind of what I've been going on. Another one that I've been watching was Succession.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's
it's
good.
pretty good. I like
That's
that
good.
one.
Yeah.
Um, and then Shrinking with Jason Segel.
Oh, I've heard that's good.
Yeah, it's good. It's great. And
That's on the watch
Harrison
list,
Ford.
but
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. No, really, really good. Really good.
Okay. Yeah.
Great cast and just yeah, it's well done.
But yeah, nice that you don't have the time, and that's a good thing in your world, right? Like that means that you're busy, you're doing what you're supposed to be doing.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Oh my, and the last week's been crazy. So like we launched this radio campaign a couple weeks ago. So that's financially demanding. I'm shooting a video at the end of May. That's also financially demanding.
Yeah.
I'm getting more mixes done with Cone that we just finished. So
Mm.
I think Eric Ratz is actually doing those, which is really cool if you know Eric. Um and then my car broke down. Basically my car's a write-off. So I had to buy a new car. Like, well,
Fuck.
I gotta buy one like this week.
Yeah.
So it's like financially devastating, but at the same time, it's like money's just money, man. And
Yeah.
I'm 28 years old right now, and it's pedal to the metal for this music stuff because it's like this is the time. And I didn't I didn't want to fuck around with how I released my first song. I wanted
Mhm.
to make sure it was done right. And basically, when Mike from RPM was like, "Do you want to take number into radio?" I was like, "This seems like the time, right?"
Yeah. Yeah. So that
So
means that, of course, knowing the back part of that, that means that there's going to be a Coster cross Canada tour to promote the single and everything. So when do you think
yeah,
that's going to be announced? Is that just
uh,
premature at this point?
I don't know about a cross Canada tour right now. I mean, if I the thing is, if I get on as a support act for like a bigger tour, then like that's definitely a possibility. I
Yeah.
know there's some things in the works right now with the Lazies, but that's mostly Ontario,
Mm,
because I don't even think they're traveling out west. But yeah, it's definitely something that we're gonna start pushing towards. I think we're gonna follow this radio campaign up with another one, but like we're just in week 2 of this campaign here,
yeah,
so
it's early. Yeah.
very very early. And we're just gonna like we just locked down a distribution like streaming deal as well with somebody. I don't think I can talk too much about it yet,
Mm,
but that really helps with the streaming and playlisting side of things. Like that takes a lot of stress off my shoulders in that sense. And then that kind of plays into the radio campaign as well. Like those
mhm.
numbers, they all kind of work together, right? So
Well, it's big time, right? Like there's so many boxes you need to check in
yeah,
order to, do it right, do it, do it how it needs to be done, right? Like
and it's
it's a
all got to
fucking massive job, dude.
it is, and it's all got to be done in a timely manner. And now like social media, like TikTok's a very demanding thing. I hate it, but uh, I like to think I'll make some pretty funny shit. So we've just
Yeah,
been plucking away at the TikTok bullshit.
yeah. I know,
Doing
right? It's one of those like it's a maddening to have to always do social media, but it's
yeah,
so important. It's
so
insane
important.
how
It's so
important it is.
important. Yeah.
Yeah.
So like one thing I've been doing, like I don't know if you saw the little interview I did with Justin,
Oh yeah.
which is down by the lake there or whatever. So that was my buddy Johnny who actually did the interview with him, and then he's gonna do one with Cone. And he did one with my manager Greg as well. So
Yeah.
just like little stuff like that to give people like an idea of the story, I guess, of Coster and such things.
Yeah.
Kind of keep them in the loop, but yeah, there's like the thing is once the radio campaign goes, it's like there always needs to be something happening.
Always.
Yeah,
Otherwise, you're spending money for nothing.
for nothing. Yeah.
Yeah. How about rock books? I've been asking music guys like to give some recommendations for like rock autobiographies.
I oh man, you're asking the wrong guy. I
Not,
haven't
not a
read
big,
much.
not a big reader guy.
Not a bit, man. There was one my vocal teacher back in Vancouver gave me a book. I forget what it's called, like before the gold or after the gold rush or something, but it was kind of touching on the Canadian music scene from like the 60s to like the 80s
Mm.
and like everything that was kind of going on in it. Um and that was a pretty good read. I got like 3/4 of the way through and then I had to move and I had to
Yeah,
stop
yeah,
reading
yeah.
it. I was like, ah.
Where is that book again? Where is it?
Yeah, no,
What?
I had to give it back to Dave. I felt so bad for not finishing it, but that was the closest I've gotten to finishing a book in quite a while.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Nice.
not much of a reader myself, honestly.
Yeah, I'm the same. I mean,
Yeah,
literally, rock autobiographies, nothing else. Like
yeah,
nothing else.
and I feel like that's the only thing that would interest me too if I
Yeah.
were to really read it. But like,
I just don't have time, man. I just like there's
I
no
don't have
time. Like,
time.
where the fuck
Yeah,
am I gonna find a time to like? I've got a wife, 2 kids, 2 jobs. Like, when do I have the time to do that shit? I
yeah,
don't.
we don't, right? And like on the weekend, I work 28 hours in 2 days.
Right?
Yeah, so it's like where like
Quickly, just read that book here now that I'm home. Right?
yeah, yeah, exactly. Give
Yeah.
me 30 minutes. I'll go through 4 chapters.
Let's be right back.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
All right. Last one. I'll wrap it up here.
Yep.
It's not necessarily a question, but I know for sure guys like you have these stories. So hit me with a near death story where you're like, holy shit, could have just died there.
All right. So on the way back, so just I was on the road with Broken Love, right? So we
Yep.
went all the way to Vancouver to the West Coast, and then his band flew out from Vancouver. Justin and I drove back all the way from
Wintertime. Yeah.
all the way and it's funny because like on our way out west like the roads are fine, we were like this is gravy, like we're doing so good, nothing's going wrong, and on the way back it was just terror, like like every
White
like it was
knuckle.
it was so bad. So I remember we got to Calgary and we were gonna go up to Saskatoon to meet up with some people to like hang out for the night, which
Okay.
like we didn't realize how stupid of a route that was.
Yeah.
And like all of a sudden the GPS, we're not even like looking at where the GPS is taking us. It's taking us through like backcountry Alberta roads, right? and we get into the craziest snowstorm. I'm from BC, like the craziest snowstorm you've ever seen. And
Yeah,
we're
no,
going down this road where we don't see anybody for fucking like 30, 40 minutes. Like nobody's on this road. And we're like, should we even be here? And then all of a sudden, like we see some lights coming towards us. And it's a fire truck. It's a fire marshal. And he's like, you boys, where are you boys going? He's like, there ain't nothing out here for 300 kilometers. We're like, holy crap. He's like, listen, like you guys find a place to turn around. We're gonna wait for you at the exit down here, but like do
wow.
not go any further.
Yeah, yeah.
And like
What are
and
you
like
dumbasses doing?
yeah, pretty much. And that was one of the moments. The other moment, we were just outside of Thunder Bay, and you know how like when you're in a passing lane, you pass on the left side, right?
Yeah, yeah.
We're going like 120, probably 110, 120 in the van with the trailer on the back, and it's like shit roads, like terrible roads. And I'm sitting in the passenger seat, Justin's driving, and the passing lane ends, and there's like that little gravel spot on the right. And
Yeah.
all of a sudden, like we had no fucking idea this guy was coming. A semi truck going like 150 just blows by on like my right shoulder, like going so fast. And like I'm sitting here, like the doors here, like the metal of this truck is like inches away from me. And it was just like it was such a quick moment of
Yeah, yeah.
like we could have just got so fucked. But he
Oh yeah.
didn't, he just went for it. And it was like, oh my God, like what are you guys
It's so
doing?
dicey, like, and talk to the majority of musicians, man. That's like so dicey.
Yeah, it's a sketchy drive, man. But I
Yeah,
love it. I love it. I'm crazy, but I fucking love it. I was like, oh shit, makes me feel alive.
I love it. Love it. So what's on your plate for the rest of 2023? Of course, you just released Numb Brain.
Yeah. So
Um, hopefully that takes off on radio. But like, what else is planned for you?
yeah, so we got Number. Justin and I did another song with this distro deal. I got some release commitments now over the next 4 years or so.
Nice.
So that kind of keeps me on my toes, which is a good thing. And then just trying to get some shows. The thing for me with shows is I wanna make them count, right? I'm
Yeah.
hiring my guys. I'm gonna make sure they're amazing shows, but I'm not gonna go and play every bar show that anybody offers me or anything like that.
No, no.
Because it just kind of sets the value of who you are as an artist, I guess, in a way as well. I think.
Well, it doesn't make
Um,
sense, man. You can't keep playing all the time. Like if you
no, no,
keep playing
no.
the same place every time, they'll be, oh, dude, I'll catch you next time. You don't want,
Exactly.
you don't want that.
Exactly.
You want
Some
people to
people.
be like, holy fuck, you're playing. That's great. I haven't seen you forever.
Exactly, and that's
Yeah.
that's that's the move, right? So yeah, there's some more shows planned. Cone and I have some really cool songs that are just about fit. Like one of them is a smash. Like
Really?
like it is a smash. It is. It's a song that I've been like kind of trying to write for a lot of years, and then when I met Johnny, like the guy I'm living with,
Mm.
he was a rapper, producer, and he's really good at like making trap drums and stuff. So it's almost got like this Beastie Boys verse thing, and then this super punk rock chorus,
Oh,
and
cool.
it's just this really cool infusion of two genres that, and the whole song's kind of like a joke too, which it's a lot of fun.
Yeah,
Yeah, people are gonna love that song.
that's cool. So you got lots on the back burners. You're ready to
There's so
attack.
much. Yeah, there's so much to go, and I got like I said, a video that I'm shooting for Numbrain at the end of this month here. So,
Yep.
yep, pedal to the metal, Todd.
Deadly, buddy.
Yeah,
Deadly,
brother.
man. Well, you're easy to find on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all at Coster Music.
Yep.
I guess that's it. Thanks for jumping on again, buddy. Good
Hey,
to see
man.
you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you.